Welcome. Okay, if you're a psychology student, you know this chapter on therapeutic approaches can feel, well, huge. But what if we could break it all down in just a few minutes? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. This is your ultimate no-fluff guide to absolutely crushing this topic on your exam. Let's dive in.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the basics. What even is psychotherapy? Then we'll get into the therapeutic relationship, super important, and compare the 3 big approaches you need to know. After that, we'll look at the actual techniques, cover ethics, and then wrap it all up with a summary flowchart to lock it all in your brain.
All right, let's get the ball rolling with Section 1. What is psychotherapy? Before we can talk about all the different kinds of therapy, we've got to have a really solid idea of what we're even talking about.
So, at its absolute core, psychotherapy is this voluntary partnership. And the 2 words you've got to remember here are voluntary and trained. This isn't just a casual chat with a friend. It's a professional, structured relationship with a clear goal to help solve psychological problems. And these 4 points right here, this is what makes it official. This is what separates professional therapy from just getting advice. It's based on science, it's run by a pro, it's focused on the client, and this is huge, it's confidential. Seriously, for your exam, if a question asks you to define psychotherapy, hitting these 4 points is how you get top marks.
And look at the goals, you're all over the map, in a good way. It's not just about fixing what's broken, reducing that emotional pressure. It's also about building new things, fostering positive growth, making your relationships better, and just getting to know yourself on a deeper level. Okay, so now we know what therapy is. Let's talk about what makes it work. And honestly, many people believe it all comes down to this one thing, the therapeutic relationship. This is truly the heart of the entire process.
Think about this handshake. It perfectly captures what this relationship is all about. Yeah, on one hand, it's professional, it's a contract, there are boundaries. But on the other hand, it's this incredibly deep, trusting human connection. And that trust? That's the bedrock. Without it, nothing else can be built.
I love this quote because it nails the difference between empathy and just feeling sorry for someone. Pay attention to that phrase without ever losing the as-if quality. A therapist steps into your shoes to understand your world, but they don't get lost in it. It's a professional skill, and it's absolutely essential. So, we have a client, we have a therapist, they have a great relationship. Now what? How does the therapist actually figure out what to do? Well, they use one of 3 major approaches, which are kind of like different lenses for looking at the same problem. And for each one, the big question is, what's the root cause here?
Okay, screenshot this, write it down, do whatever you need to do because this table is pure exam gold. It simplifies everything. You've got the psychodynamic approach, which says the problem is buried in your childhood, so we need to dig into the unconscious. Then you have the behavioral approach, which says nope, it's all about faulty learning, so we just need to change the behavior. And finally, the humanistic approach says the problem is blocked growth, so the job is to create a space for you to find your own way. This is the core of the chapter, right here on this slide.
All right, enough with the high-level theory. Let's get practical. What are the actual tools in the therapist's toolbox? We're going to focus on the big ones, the ones you're almost guaranteed to see on your exam.
Here we have 2 sides of the same behavioral coin. On one side, you've got aversive conditioning. That's where you pair something unpleasant with a bad habit to make you stop. On the other side, you've got positive reinforcement, rewarding good behavior to make you do it more often. See? One is about stopping, the other is about starting. Simple as that. Now, if you get an exam question about phobias, this is your answer. Systematic desensitization. It's brilliant because it works on a super simple principle. You literally cannot be anxious and deeply relaxed at the same time. Your body just can't do it. So you learn to relax, and then you slowly face your fear, step by step, replacing the fear with calm. Okay, moving on to a cognitive therapy, REBT. The big idea here is a game changer. It's not the activating event, the A, that causes the emotional consequence, the C. It's your irrational belief about it, the B. The therapy isn't about changing what happened. It's about challenging and changing the irrational stories you tell yourself about what happened.
So here we go. A classic exam-style question. A client is terrified of heights. What do you do? Well, let's think it through. What is a phobia? It's an intense learned fear. So what's the most direct tool we have for unlearning that fear? You got it. Systematic desensitization, because it's designed specifically to replace that fear response with relaxation.
All right, so we've looked at techniques, but what else is going on that helps people heal? And maybe even more important, what are these strict ethical rules of the road that every single therapist has to follow?
This chart is so important. Just look at it. The specific technique the therapist uses is just one piece of the pie. The therapeutic alliance, that relationship we talked about, is a massive factor. It really shows that how therapy happens, that human connection, can be just as important, if not more important, than the specific method being used.
These 5 principles, they are the absolute, non-negotiable foundation of good therapy. They aren't suggestions, they are ironclad rules. From making sure the client knows what they're signing up for, to keeping their information private, these ethics are what make therapy a safe, professional space to heal.
And hey, let's not forget that healing can happen outside of a therapist's office, too. Ancient practices like yoga and meditation are gaining so much recognition because, well, they work. By teaching us to focus our attention and regulate our breathing, they give us powerful tools to manage our own mental well-being.
Whew! We have covered a ton of ground. So let's bring it all home. We're going to put everything together in one simple flowchart to help you see the whole picture and make your exam revision a breeze. And here it is, the entire journey in 6 steps. See how it flows? It all starts with someone identifying a problem. Then you build that crucial relationship. From there, you pick the right approach and apply the right tools. All of this leads to healing and new insights. And the final goal? Helping the person live a better, healthier life. It's a logical, step-by-step process.
So there you have it, a complete map of therapeutic approaches. The key takeaway is to see how all these pieces connect. And as you study for your exam, I want to leave you with a question to think about. What do you think is the single most important ingredient for healing? Is it the scientific technique, or is it the human connection? There's no easy answer, but wrestling with that question will help you understand this topic on a much deeper level. Good luck.